Hello, welcome to the TV room. David Bradley here. So, oh, that's data set notes. Okay, so I did get something else that I think is going to be handy from Timu here, and I know it's hard to see it. It's a black thing. It's a heavy-duty rubber thing, and what it's designed for is, see, a lot of cars they have kind of a ridge like this, and that's where you're supposed to find this and jack it up if you need to change the tire or do such things. Hey, we're supposed to be on. There we are. We're on the air. Um, and it's good. It's just the jack isn't shaped like this. The jacks are, sorry, the jacks that are any good just have a bowl kind of a thing, and it can damage the area. So the idea is you get the jack under there, you get this on the jack, and get it lined up with the spot you're supposed to do it, and it should do it and not hurt the car, which is important because if this jack thing gets, over the years, things happen and it's harder and harder to find a good spot. And then you're damaging the floor and you're doing other things, and that's not good. Anyway, I will take this to the car. Now, another thing here, if we look over here, here we have a pet. It's an old original one, and this is really not a great thing. I mean, it's a great thing, but it's not really a great thing. It's a fan. And in this machine, there we go, you can hear it spin. It's a 120-volt fan, and really, on a lot of pets, there's a lot of room over here near the power supply because, well, there's no keyboard. There's a keyboard up above, but there's no data set. But this one has this pesky data set. So really, this is not where I really wanted to have this. But I had it on for like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I thought, I know that heat is the enemy. Now I got to be careful putting this down. Wow. So at least inside the pet there's a fan going round and round. Now, it's blowing on the power supply. That is, I would rather have it blowing on the board or sucking up or whatever. But in this machine, with this size fan, that's really all I can do. Anyway, fans, as well as heat sinks, can help save your old computers. Keep that in mind. Now, do I really need to hear that noise right now? No. Is this the best fan out there? No. Rudy of Rudy's Retro Intel is working on something for super pets that get hot. And his plan is to get a 12-volt fan, but run it on 5 volts. So it works, but it's a very, it's not an overpowering sound like that. It just isn't. It just isn't. But anyway, let's turn this on. See if I have it plugged in. See if it comes on. Oh yeah, Commodore Basic 7167 by 3. It's beautiful. Now, okay, we're rewound. Just because I can. I'm going to load big time. And remember, I'm doing it on the secondary cassette tape, which means it is tape number 2. And if you've seen Big Time, that's really what it is. It's the time big. And if you think back way when, that somebody would spend this much money and just stick a machine somewhere and have it displaying the time, that's kind of crazy. But I always liked this program. I did. I've not seen it in 20, 25 years or so, but there it was on this tape. It was. And so I like it. Now, I have many, many, many more tapes to explore, and I will explore them. I just haven't haven't got to it yet. It is still searching. That is one thing about data sets. They are not fast, but generally somewhat sort of reliable. Somewhat. So it has found Squiggle DRB, and Squiggle DRB is a program called Squiggle that I modified slightly, and I think I'll modify it more. It's loading big time. I changed it so that after a certain amount of time, it clears the screen, because the screen kind of gets full, and then it's hard to see what's going on. And it is kind of cool to see it doing its thing. But once the screen is all completely, totally full, it's hard, it's like, what's it doing? I don't see anything. And the other thing I think I want to do is change it so that it will, every time it clears the screen, it will squiggle at a different rate, and then go back to the beginning. So let's see, what time is it? 8:03. Okay. 0803. Oh, that's a 9. And let's see. Oh, it now says 4. There. And there it is. Big time. Now, is it accurate to the second? Well, yes, but I don't. The readout on here isn't accurate to the second, so it's close. It is, and that's all it does. And chances are, this would be a cool thing to have in a display case somewhere. It might need to be reset now and again. It might. But there it is. And now, is the pet clock completely, totally, 100% accurate? Well, probably almost. Probably it loses a little. Probably. I'm not sure. I suppose I could do an experiment. Cheers. I suppose I could. But not at this moment in time. So, we are approaching the festive, holiday, Christmassy, and lots of other magical things happening with many religions. It's funny, my mother has a friend. They've been friends, I would bet, 75 years. And politically speaking, they are as opposite could be. And the way that they have maintained being friends for that long is they never talk about politics, ever. And that is probably not a bad thing. And in these days of very divisive, very us or them, very, compromise is a bad word, and such, I too tend to stay away from politics because, well, it's funny. I was at a retirement years ago for a politician named Ann Johnson. She was a Toronto councillor. And way back when there was contentious issues up, and there was some supposedly meeting room in the basement of City Hall where councillors would sit and discuss things and try and work out strategies and things and come up with, wait for it, deals, compromises, and such. When she knew something was particularly contentious, she would bake a large batch of cookies. And if negotiations and talks and discussions were not going well, she would keep handing out more cookies, perhaps to the people who were in disagreement with her and others, in order that eventually they might find enough common ground. And indeed, compromise, just the way compromise is, it doesn't mean that both sides or the many sides looking at an issue get everything they want, but they get enough that they're satisfied, that they can go along with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sadly, oh, I know the word I was looking for, polarized. Polarized. It's sort of like you're over here, and that's it. We're never going to make a deal. And that is too bad. But I do know that, these things happen where things escalate to other levels where other people decide and listen to things and have to, sort things out. Um, but it's much better when the people involved can sit down and calmly, rationally say, okay, what's up? And how can we make this work? Or such. But that seems not to be the way these days. It seems to be, um, it's my way or I'm going to take my ball home. And I I don't like it. But oh well. So, just generally speaking, I don't speak about politics much. I stay away from it. Actually, recently, I pretty much stopped watching the news. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's never much in there that's good. Um, there just isn't. There's wars and polarized politicians and other such things. And I can do just as well without it. Because who knows how much time we have. It's funny, I remember the story of, there was a famous columnist I remember when I was growing up. He was in the Toronto Star, Gary Lawtons. And the last column he ever wrote, and I don't know if he had a premonition or whatever, the last column he ever wrote, he said, I've never used my middle name and I'm not going to pay to have it on my gravestone. I've never used it. It's nothing to me. I don't remember. It's probably much more eloquent than that, that's basically it. And, after he wrote that and handed it in and after it was printed, he died. And I would bet that his grieving family did not put his middle name on his tombstone. I would bet. Anyway, so time marches on. And it's unfortunate when people who are supposedly, all in it for the same reason, and I'm not just politics, perhaps business, perhaps any workplace, people who are all in it for the same reason, um, seem to get into these fights where they are not necessary. They're not. Anyway, so as I say, time marches on, so don't waste it. Do not waste it. And I say, I've got lots to do. And oh, one good thing, I do have a whole Santa costume thing, but up until this morning, and I've been looking and looking and looking, I couldn't find the pants to go with it. I was so distraught. But thankfully, they have been found. So I can get into my whole garb and go. And I have other glasses. I think Santa should have glasses. I have some other ones. They're kind of like John Boy Walton glasses with the little things that go over the ears. And they are not prescription at all. So I need to shine them up and practice the ho 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 ho. Anyway, as I say, lots to do, but will we really have time to get it all done? We'll see. One thing I can say, no one ever said on their deathbed, I wish I spent more time at work. No way. And you dedicate yourself for years and years and years and years and years, and if something really comes up, or you die, or you get sick, they'll replace you in a week. So be careful out there. Stay tuned. And we'll see you again soon. Back in the TV room. Where I'm just not sure what I'll work on next. I think, though, I will. I did get the tape head demagnetizer thing. I'm going to read the instructions, and I'm going to try to see if it'll help this data set here. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. But it's worth a try. I do remember, I've never had one before, I never used one before, but I do remember from long ago hearing that sometimes the head on a tape recorder needs to be demagnetized. Anyway, we'll see. Once again, have a lovely, lovely day. Ho, ho, ho. Bye for now.